Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I almost said balls deep.
I about to say Justin showed up.
No, the Blackout Tips podcast. You can find us everywhere you find podcasts. Leave us 5-star reviews. We read them on the show if they're nice. We didn't get any this week, so we'll hopefully next week y'all come through.
I guess y'all don't love us no more, but
come hug our neck.
Yes, come virtually hug our neck. It's absolutely positively free. Speaking of showing us love, you guys can go ahead and get prepared for the Black Guy Who Tips Day, which is September the 2nd, which is our anniversary. So this is the day where people have their t-shirts and bring out their mugs and their stickers, whatever Black Guy Who Tips paraphernalia they have, and they post it online and things like that. This is kind of our day to celebrate the podcast, and it would be our 20th anniversary?
20th anniversary?
Yes.
Of the Black Guy Who Tips.
No, our 20th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wedding anniversary.
Yeah,
okay. I was about to say yes.
Yes. Because the Black Guy Who Tips Day is on our wedding anniversary. That way we can kind of celebrate two for one.
Yep.
And so for those of you who go, well, where do I get Black Guy Who Tips stuff? Great question. You go to Teepublic and type in the Black Guy Who Tips.
The link is in the show notes.
Okay.
Every episode. So if you want to get some gear, you want to support us, it's in the show notes. They have sales all the time at Teepublic. We try to share that information on our social media feeds when they have sales. But go to Teepublic, buy stuff, and wear it. Take pictures of it. Yes. We get a bunch of dope pictures. We have such beautiful fans.
We do.
We get a bunch of dope pictures every September 2nd, and we normally use them as show art or take pictures and retweet them and share them to people on social media so people can see each other, link up, whatever they want to do. Just know you're not alone. You're listening in your cubicle. You're listening in your house. You bought the gear. Send us that picture, post it, tag us, the Blackout Tips, whatever. And we want to let y'all shine a light on that. So thank y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. I thought I got a reminder in my phone. I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and start now. That way everybody can go ahead and get ready and have your stuff ordered and shipped by September the 2nd.
All right, y'all. Feedback time. So you know what that means. At this point, hopefully all the segments. We're going to talk about voicemails, emails, comments on our website, votes on the polls, Anchor comments, voicemail line if we get any voicemails. We're going to do all that. But if you know that means you also know the first people we got to shout out is people that gave us money.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlatan, Rod, and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Black Guy Who Tips.
That's right. New day, new money. Let's talk about this bag that we are securing. Our boy Zach from Living Corporate Podcast, Lawrence C, Grace N, Linwood C, Cedric W, Dotstra J, Preston, Team Joe, the podcast, Slang of Ages. I'm doing a good job remembering so far, Preston. I hope you're impressed. Okay. I read hundreds of these every month. Okay. Tracy J, Celeste Vaughn B, Mariano, Monica T, Calvin N, Jason F, and lastly Tyrone M. Those are the people that put something on it this week. We want to thank you for helping us get to these ducats. Okay, because we need that on these streets. Okay, you see, times are hard. Let's go. No 5-star reviews, so we can get right into these podcast episodes on the blackouttips.com. The first one was our feedback show, America, Guns, Jesus, episode 2672. Woo, getting up there, y'all.
I claim.
Oh wait, 2572. That's a typo on my part.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know how it is, guys. Sometimes you gotta have a typo every once in a while, and then you catch it when you do feedback, because feedback is almost like proofreading. Why not? But yeah, so this episode was a feedback episode. America, Guns, Jesus. We got 3 comments on it. The comments were Appia, of course, first. Also, listen to Savage Love and Dan Savage, who experienced the AIDS crisis, agrees with you about monkeypox. Would not talking about it help the vulnerable group? I don't think so. Yeah, I just think it's unfortunately, it's just kind of like a byproduct of years of trauma, a government that was culpable and responsible for a lot of damage with the way that Reagan and them specifically handled the HIV AIDS crisis.
When they're responsible for a lot of those deaths.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's led us to this point where we're sitting around going, well, is it homophobic to literally target the group that is having the most issues with this crisis right now? Like, does it add to the problem because we're going to deal with the stigma and all this stuff? But to me, I'm like, the stigma is a problem when your government doesn't want to give help. The stigma is a problem when your fellow citizens say, oh, that's the gay disease, I don't need to worry about it because I'm not gay. And those are things that the government can help the response.
Yes.
And they're doing that. But the stigma of people's homophobia, I don't know that anyone can solve that. But I don't think that we shouldn't be so afraid of the stigma that we leave people out here to fend for themselves. That feels wrong.
Correct. Because I want to say it was the day, because I really love the Daily List, y'all can tell. But they have been, talking about monkeypox and things like that, and people catching it. And they were talking to, a lot of gay men, and asking them, like, do they know where they caught it from? And they was talking about how some of them were having a very hard time actually getting the vaccine, and the hoops that they had to jump through, and why people aren't getting it. And I didn't realize this, but it's a lot of regulations behind it, and doctors can't just go and be like, hey, yeah, I see you have it, let me just go get this vaccine. They have to sign a lot of paperwork and shit like that, and it's causing a delay in them getting it. And they was just talking about how terrible it was to actually have to sit and suffer just because you don't have a better access to it. And that's why I know the government had talked about how they bumped it up, and that makes a difference, because now the government could come in and be like, hey, y'all, you know what, make it readily available, stop this bullshit, and get it out to the public in mass.
She also says, good that I'm not a movie maker, but just your neighborhood big pharma hospital account manager. I might have no culture I feel I belong to. Poland, I was born here. I'm 85% genetically Eastern European. I don't look it, I also don't feel it. I feel more German, but still not quite. Just last week, a Greek physician asked me where I was from, and I told him, no, you have way too much color in you. Spain, Greece, Italy, maybe. You are not Polish or German. You are too dark for it. Me, I'm sorry. I had 10% Balkan in my genetic test. That's better. That's wild.
Right? You are too dark. What does that even mean?
Well, it's just wild that doctors is that free out there. Like, so you a little too dark to be just regular German. What you got in you? You're like, hey man, stick to the fucking, what's my blood pressure?
Right? I didn't know this was DNA test.
Ain't supposed to be counting my heartbeats or some shit.
Like, who gives a fuck what I am?
Pamela M8 says, Pamela says, salutations, Rod and Karen and Rod. I'm sorry, it's Karen and Rod. She's woke. Sorry.
Oh, shit now.
Responding to the poll, do you cook? I can finally say yes, often. I've been remote from my living room since March 2020, and I'm not going back to the office. I've never been a cook, but I've been baking since I was 8 years old. And for dinner, I would eat meals out, or simply convenience food, because when I eat, my whole family eats. My son eats completely different stuff, but he enjoys my baked goods. For years, I would sift through cookbooks, make copies of things that sounded good, then end up throwing the copies out because it's too much time and effort after working all day, then coming home trying to figure out what I can eat.
Yes.
If I had any other errands to run that day, forget about it. Now, the kitchen's right there, and I got the time. Over the past couple of years, I've accumulated spices, small appliances, and other equipment. Today, I made a moist, delicious applesauce cake for my coffee break, and grilled some onions for some turmeric rice with golden raisins and pine nuts, made in my sojurushi rice cooker.
Come on, fancy.
I'll be fixing some Indian butter chicken here in a minute with sauce from a jar.
That sounds absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I got a recipe for that. I like to use apps a lot of times to keep up with recipes that I want to try. And sometimes I cook them 2 or 3 times till I feel like I either perfected them or added something to it that felt new and fresh. The one I'm currently using is Yumly. I use all recipes as well. Normally they just kind of give you the basics and then you can kind of like cater things towards your making. The first time I normally stick exactly to the recipe. And maybe I'll add a couple spices to it, but mostly I just try to run through it the way they say. So if they say bake it at 400 degrees for 30 minutes, I just do that. But after a couple times, normally I learned about the trial and error and stuff. And so like I'm working on taco casserole now. And each time I make it, I try to make it a little different, a little better. And like this time I use fresh tomatoes and jalapenos and all this stuff. And cauliflower rice. I might make one next time with some like rice. And think about trying to figure a way to add beans to the situation somehow.
Ooh, that'd be good.
So,
I think you changed up the meat on that one too.
Yeah, I went from ground turkey to ground beef. So yeah, just anyway, I have the time to experiment and think about this shit when I was working outside of the house and I had to be at work 40 hours a week.
Very difficult.
It the timing and the planning it would have required was just other stuff I was planning and timing too, like the podcast. And then just the thought, right? Just thinking about it, like, oh man, let me think. I want to do this. I want to do that. I wasn't thinking like that at all when it was cooking before. It would be like, I guess I have to cook because I don't have money and it's late or something.
Yes.
And now it's like I cook for pleasure, enjoyment, and health, and a bunch of other concerns that I can address that is a luxury. And you know, I had to get a certain age and get a certain amount of money before I could even have that as a luxury. And we're not nowhere near rich or nothing, but I think a lot of people in the pandemic probably have been able to enjoy this somewhat. For those, you know, just like some people have been enjoying working out every day or whatever. This has been an area I've been able to enjoy cooking for myself and been able to have some semblance of control in that area. And I can imagine that when it comes time for people to return back to in-person work, a lot of people are going to hate to have to give that up.
Yes, because like you said, spending hours on end outside of your job. That's why a lot of people kind of prep stuff in advance, you know. And particularly if you have children and shit like that, a lot of them like, look, we eating spaghetti at least once a week because I don't have time to be trying to get shit together or be convenient, because that at that point it becomes are you eating? You know,
you need meals that create a lot of leftovers.
Correct.
And you need meals that are fast and easy and can feed a lot of people. Yeah. It's just people cook with different goals in mind. A lot of times the women in families end up being relegated to cooking in addition to all their other tasks, and they have to cook for efficiency. This is not the barefoot Contessa and shit, and they're not sitting around being housewives. They also work 40 hours jobs and shit. So you getting some motherfucking slavery chicken and some spaghetti,
right, or fried chicken or whatever, so it can last 3 days, so I don't have to cook 5 days a week.
I'm always tuned in to Lip Smacking Good and like to hear about what meals you're cooking. I appreciate all that you both do, Pamela. Thank you. And yeah, meals of the week, or as I like, not meals of the week. That segment is called Cook That Nigga. And it's a segment, if you guys don't have either just the tip or premium, it's a segment where
Cook That Nigga.
It's a segment where I play that clip and then I talk about foods that I'm cooking throughout the week or experimenting with. Probably on the next episode, I'll talk about these honey, garlic, butter, glazed salmon bites.
Nigga, that was delicious.
That I made that I was very proud of.
Honey, when I tell you, I do not take you for granted, honey. I do not take you for granted, honey, because my ass, I don't be knowing what's for lunch, breakfast, or dinner. My ass just be showing up to eat. I don't even ask.
The plates do be empty. That's the best feeling after you cook.
Yeah, that's one thing about me. I am not a picky eater. You cook it.
Well, hold up. Now it's more. It just turned into an insult, so you can take that part back. But no. I eat anything thrown in front of me. I don't give a fuck. But no, the plates being empty is a good thing, and it's a lie that you're not a picky eater. You just like to say stuff like that because I've seen times where I've gotten ingredients or stuff that you've left and you did not eat them. and you won't say that you didn't like it.
No.
But you clearly didn't like it, and I just stop ordering those things or stop cooking that stuff if it's not good. So
Yeah, I need to
pay
be
attention.
I need to be more direct because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Well, I'm not gonna be. My feelings aren't hurt because at least one, if I feel like I fucked something up, which does happen occasionally, I know it too, and I don't want to eat the shit either. I'm not trying to eat nothing I fucked up. So if it's like, oh, this is salty, I fucked this up somehow, or this went wrong in some step, and this feels undercooked or something, then I throw it away and order Jersey Mike's. I don't give a fuck. But there's other stuff where it's just like, you don't like to eat blank, and I'm not gonna keep ordering something that you don't like to eat.
That's true.
So it's just saving me time.
Yeah. A lot of times it's the texture, or maybe it's just way to cook. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. So if you don't like it in a certain, like, oh, okay, you don't like roasted, I don't know, cauliflower or something. I'm drawing a blank on some of the stuff because it's been so long since I cooked something you didn't eat. But there's stuff that I do remember ordering and being like, no, I won't get that again, or go to the store, I'll skip that section. Because what's the point? Danny says Instagram was stupid and trying to be like TikTok because people were using Instagram for what Instagram offered, not to be like TikTok. And people who use TikTok post their videos on Instagram anyways for cross-platform saturation. So Instagram didn't need to be like any other platform other than Instagram. They played themselves. Yeah, the thing I find interesting, man, I saw on Twitter, someone had a graphic, and it was so damning for Facebook and Instagram because it was just tracking teenagers. And of course it just
because they're the future.
And at this point, it's a big deal to these people that we are all like on these apps for life.
Yes.
And so seeing people grow apart, grow away, or decide, I don't want to use your app anymore is like a really big indictment on these platforms. It's like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
Because we can't quote unquote die, but nobody ever thinks about what happens when your app is uncool.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Right. And so it was like a damning graphic because I want to say the percentage, but for teens with these with Facebook and Instagram specifically, were like 4% or some shit.
Yeah, because they've moved on. Because for a lot of them, I'll joke aside, particularly with Facebook, once your parents or your grandparents and all the people got on there, it was uncool to be there. Like, honestly, you're like, the fuck I'm gonna be here for? I don't want my mama monitoring me. I don't want my grandpa monitoring me. Like, I'll be over there just to say I'm over there, but you know how kids are. They want to be on some new shit. So they moved to the new shit right now. It's TikTok, and it may be something else. And that's the thing. It's going to be very hard to keep people on there for life when as soon as their parents come on there, it becomes uncool.
Yeah, this is the graph. It was marketing charts, US teens' favorite social platform, and it was tracking it from 2015 in the spring to the spring of 2020. And Facebook had started at it's Facebook and Twitter at the bottom. Twitter's at 2% now. Facebook's at 3% now with teens. Twitter had started at 21%.
That's a huge drop.
Yeah, I think as shit becomes political, not as fun.
And a lot of people, a lot of them have been harassed on these social medias.
Political, not as fun. And it's, we learn about the big business of these Twitter. When you're talking about like, did they get acquired by Elon Musk or not? What's the stock share price? Kids don't give a fuck about that. That's not cool to them,
right?
So yeah, a lot. And then of course, kids would be the ones that are the most naive, that might have their brain cells rocked by the fact that these are, corporations that are getting your information and can know doing shit to your brain and all this stuff. So they might be the most like, I'll go to another place. But yeah, so Twitter and Facebook are now 3% and 2%. TikTok's at 33% right now. Snapchat's at 31%, which is the staying power of Snapchat. Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
and Instagram's at 22%. Now this is just teens, not everybody,
right?
But clearly teens grow up to be adults and stuff. So of course they're looking at it that way.
Right. And it's one of those things where if we're losing them now, they don't come back.
Right. And then these are just the honey garlic butter glazed salmon bites
Yes.
with a
And that salad
avocado salad.
was
So
flames.
Yep. All right, let's get into the poll. The poll was, do you cook? Yes, often. I can cook, but I don't cook often, or nope.
I'm group number 2.
0%, nope. I can cook, I don't cook often, 27%, which means 73% says yes, they can cook, and yes, they cook often. And I would bet that number went up because of the pandemic.
Yeah. And also, I think with the pandemic, a lot of people, it wouldn't be surprising if the pandemic and people eating fresh went up. Like, people are like, hey, I got time to actually chop these things, buy it fresh, cook, So I bet you a lot of people probably started going up in like the quality of the food, like you said, because now you actually at home and you have more time and everything doesn't have to be instant.
Maybe, it's also kind of people dealing with a recession and, affording less and shit costing more. So that may have set some people back in some ways. But I think if you're not eating out and going out as much, you realize you can spend the money in other places, and food is definitely one. Even as a trip to the grocery store is getting more and more expensive.
Right.
Now, like I said, it was 73% on our website, but on the Spotify poll where they have money, only 60% of them that can cook often.
Yeah, they got that Grubhub money.
Yeah, they ordering out, they going out,
Uber
they
Eats.
still in the streets, nothing changed, no pandemic for them.
Yeah.
36% said I
going
can't.
out and wearing less.
36% said I can cook, but I don't cook often. That's also a big 10% jump. And nope, 4% can't cook. Support Black botulism was the comment. People left comments. To my comment, no thank you, I'm good. I don't want any stomach issues in my life, says Miss Barnes, the Arby's eater. James says, as late Bishop Bullwinkle once said, hell to the no. Oh heavens, Kevin says to Aaron, who wrote in, so hyped to hear there's another fan from Long Beach, California. Sad to hear you got COVID, but also glad you got the monkeypox back. Stay safe out here. Y'all are dope, K-Rod. Thanks. Oh heavens, Kevin. Carly says, no can do. Gross. Cetria says, nope. Hell no. Roger PJ says, nope. Dorina says, I cook for a living, but I'm lazy as fuck to cook for myself. I tend to order delivery or go out for dinner. When I do cook for myself, it's super basic. Raphael says, as an avatar for the gods, I can with all confidence say that the gods support Black botulism excellence. Also available are a limited amount of my divine NFTs. Hurry and get yours. Show your faith.
Y'all better not.
Yeah. Raphael, this is what we have to remind people. He's our African correspondent. Be careful with sending the information. Episode 2573, the Coupon Cops. Ramsey D. Jenkins says, I'm playing catch up from last week, but I wanted to say thank you, Rod and E-Man, for appearing on For All Nerds Show. Well, thanks to me for sure. Okay, now E-Man, I don't know. Okay, I'm getting mixed reviews about him, and I'm gonna let y'all sort that out amongst yourselves.
Right.
Like I said, I have not been keeping up with that movement, so. Appia says progress isn't something automatic. People who think they are undermining the accomplishments are the ones who fought for change. The regressive powers always want to strike back. We have the antique, which is problems, but at least with science, and the Middle Ages way after it. The two-party system, I'm glad we don't have it. Here, after an election, you never know which parties will have to build a coalition to find a majority so they can completely hate on each other. They can't completely hate on each other. Okay. Well, yeah, that sounds great. If we could flip immediately to there's 15 parties or some shit, or 6 parties or 7. The problem is right now with the two-party system, if someone enters, and with me considering the Republican Party to be irredeemably evil at this point, anything that threatens the balance to tip it in the irredeemably evil scales, I don't fuck with. So if there was a way to just inject like there were 6 parties now, we all could kind of line up with things closer to our value system, I'd be cool with that. But they've simplified it so much in America. It's like one side is just intent on being fucked up and regressive.
Right.
I don't know what the argument is here. You can argue that the other side isn't progressive enough for your taste, but it's not like there's a real horse race here.
Right.
Where ideologically I'm sitting around like, I don't know. This is kind of a confusing one. Let's see. But sometimes I'm surprised by the new invented parties and their rise and fall. By the way, the Supreme Court positions aren't here for life, and it's fine. Yeah, we don't want that. About Ivana Trump, Appia says, I read an article about her funeral in the New York Times, and it seemed insane. Yeah. Heavyweight says, I remember when Tony Rock was asked about the slap and expressed his legitimate anger. People mocked him for saying he was exploiting the situation for a moment in the spotlight. I wonder if Will saying specifically that they were good friends will have anyone going back on that. I also think the best statement Jada could say is exactly what she said. Even if she completely supported the slap, it wouldn't be prudent to say. Yeah, I mean, I think, and from the other side, which some may not consider, she may have been 100% against it. Yeah, I think at this point it's a Rorschach test. I was listening to like Keith and the Girl when they talked about it with on Q&A, and I mean they talked about it there, and then on Q&A it got brought back up. I think if you're on the side of he's a piece of shit, he's terrible, right. He meant it, he's not gonna ever regret it, and he shouldn't, he shouldn't be allowed to move on, or he doesn't really want to move on. It's all manipulation of us somehow. You're gonna stay there,
right? You're not gonna.
That's what I said when we played the clip. I'm not a person that stuck there because I really and truly was like, that seemed like a man that was out of control, and
yes.
A man that a lot of people made a lot of excuses for and acted like he somehow was the good guy in that situation. Mm-hmm. He came out, said, I wasn't the good guy. I fucked up. I was out of control. It's not Jada's fault. Whatever the fuck. People are like, they were saying like, well, he's an actor. Nigga, he was an actor when he smacked the dude.
Right.
He's an actor by trade. In that case, there's nothing he could have ever said to anybody that wouldn't have been considered some type of a illusion. He could have made this all up. He said and you know who else says and a lot of people all the time when they're fucking talking. But the main point I wanted to make when I played that thing was there was nothing in there that made me feel like it would change someone's mind. So if you already felt like he's just been a reprehensible behind the scenes person that revealed himself that night, and he's a cuck in a terrible relationship, and he's evil or bad or whatever, there's nothing there that's gonna change your mind. Mm-mm. If you're on the side of he did nothing wrong, he was a good guy, he deserved a smack, that Chris Rock was attacking him and his wife, and he stood up for black women, even with him literally saying that's not what I was doing, those people won't change their mind.
Nope.
So I think it's just a stalemate. Essentially, I'm like, yeah, it's good enough. I'm ready to move on. And honestly, the biggest thing he said was he still got a lot of work to do. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because who the fuck could do something like that and then be like it would be crazier to not address it and just show up like, oh, I'm back, everybody.
Right.
I know he has a movie coming out in like November or some shit, but I mean, it probably won't. He probably won't be able to win an Oscar for it. No pun intended, or Emmy or any of that shit. But yeah, I just don't think there's anything he could have said that would have truly changed anything. He's still the man who did that shit. So however you feel about that shit, that's how you gonna feel. And to me, I felt like both sides of this extreme shit with this has been kind of had their own momentum.
Yes, and it's been very frustrating because the average person is not on these extremes. The average person has compassion for both sides, and it's like it's fucked up on both sides. Like somebody did an action, and somebody I don't the repercussions of that.
What do you mean by both sides?
I mean, the reason why I say both sides, like you said, people are like fuck Will Smith, and some people are like fuck Chris Rock. Like to me, those are extremes. on both sides. Like you do have these way out here that no matter what nobody says, they have picked their sides and it's gonna be fuck the other party. The average person is in the middle. They're not actually out here on these extremes.
I guess what I would say is I don't think it's a both sides issue in that there's like, well, the fuck Chris Rock people have a legitimate point. I don't think they do.
Me either.
I think if you feel like fuck Will Smith, you have more of a reason to feel that way than what, like the fuck Chris Rock thing was more of a like different people's agendas popping up and not necessarily what happened in that moment. It was a lot of, I would like to make this about me in some kind of way or about a different cause. But the idea of running up on stage and slapping somebody over a joke, to me, that is extreme. That is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
And the idea of saying I don't like this guy because he slapped somebody I feel like that's not that extreme. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the more, when I say extreme, when I was talking about extremes, I mean the people that are like he shouldn't work again.
Oh, okay.
He's always been a secret piece of shit, and we knew it, and now we know, and you know, this is his irredeemable moment, and for the rest of his life, we're gonna be bringing this up. Like, to me, I'm like, okay, like you're entitled to feel that way, but I think most people will not hold that same energy.
No,
at some point, he's just gonna be a working Hollywood actor again. It's not even close to the worst thing a big actor's done. You know, it's just gonna be it'll be a mark on him, but it won't be this thing where people say, you know, he should go to jail or whatever the fuck people were saying, you know.
Correct, and I agree. And it's just one of those things where it was two people, and like I said, and when I said about some people picking them like avatars, there was obviously somebody did something wrong and they should be held accountable. Like, I'm not arguing that at all. All I'm saying is like the extremes is what really got on my nerves for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was very irritating to me, and I think a lot of people, it was more of, and I guess we talked about more projecting and all these type of thing, and even apology, no apology, people are still going to project forever on this particular topic.
Yeah. I mean, even as I watched it, I was like, yeah, this is fine for me. But yeah, I imagine there's a lot of people that one way or the other. I think there's people that, like I said, there's still people that think it's Chris Rock's fault that won't be moved by that apology. And it's not because the apology didn't directly address it and say that was wrong. It's just because people do not. It has stopped being about him and Chris Rock a minute ago.
Yes.
And it's just been about what does it say about us and our lives. So, and Pretty Tomboy says, hey, loves, it's been a minute, but I'm here. I wanted to talk a bit about the recast T'Challa movie. So I'm not a big Twitter person, but I am on YouTube. Since I love nerdy shit, I got a suggestion to watch Iman Reviews. It happened to be right around the time of Chadwick's passing. I watched a live of his. He was ranting about the need to recast because of the black boy and the lack of heroes. He made a point to say that he spoke to Chadwick's brother and he didn't want Black Panther to be feminized by having a woman in the suit because that's supposedly what Chadwick would have wanted. He went on and he courted those type of followers. In fact, I have to go off on one of his homeboys who has another YouTube channel who did a video of the Woman King and allowed a discussion that was centered around the very idea there is no way that there would be a black woman who was a king. I had to block his channel and a bevy of others. He's gross, and I refuse to watch him. When he was on For Our Nerds both times, he claimed his followers aren't his fault, but he actually is those followers. I hate that he's able to use this to gain more eyes on his channels. He's Hotepi. I also want to say this. I'm sorry this is long, but it needs to be said that Marvel has constantly put black men in their films, from Chadwick to Kane to Rhodey to Killmonger to the Watcher to the Mans with the patch to the Falcon. Representation is not the problem. I'm sure Marvel will handle T'Challa in the future with due respect. Black women, well, at least we have Monica for now. Always, anyway, love y'all and all y'all do. All right. When you say at least we have Monica, so are you not counting Shuri? Are you not counting like any of the women from Black Panther? Like what is going on there? Because I think you made a very compelling argument. I'm just wondering, like,
I guess they're talking about like
Yeah.
outside of Black Panther.
Mm-hmm. Because like I definitely feel you. There haven't been enough Black women superheroes in the Marvel universe. I think they're obviously approaching that and trying to do more live action stuff that will give us that. And hopefully get to a point where they're not even just the what do you call it? The like the second, like the supporting, where it's like their show. You know what I'm saying?
Right. This is something about them.
Correct. Yeah. So I hope we do get more of that.
I think we will.
Because there are, Misty Knight, who's in the Daredevil, all that type of stuff. Ironheart is clearly in this next Black Panther movie coming up. Hopefully we get Storm and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It just felt like I feel you. The point being, I feel you. I just thought, I was like, there's only one Black woman superhero, Monica Rambeau. I didn't realize that.
Well, she's like the main person and not like the somebody.
Well, she was the supporting person in WandaVision. So she's not the main person there even. So I feel you. If that's, I really had not thought about that shit before. As far as like the number, I realize now I was really counting Black Panther and all the dope ass women in that as like, I mean, I guess even in the comics, to me, they are heroes, but Dora Milaje's been heroes. Shuri has been Black Panther and has powers in the books, and in this world, she's like the replacement of Tony Stark. But yeah, I feel you on that. And of course, there's Black actresses, but like if you're playing Gamora and your skin is green, does that really count? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how people feel about that.
You're talking about Tessa in Thor, but it's one of the things, but she's a side thing.
She's a supporting character.
Yeah. And I think eventually, as my projection is, as we go on, a lot of these people that are like the second and third, they're gonna start pushing them up to the forefront, in my opinion. I can't wait for Ironheart. I can't wait until they get to what is the other little girl with the dinosaur?
Oh yeah, we're getting that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Yes, I can't wait to.
But point being that, I mean, I had to think about it for a second because I was really like, Monica, that's it. There's other Black women in the universe, but I feel you. They're not Avengers yet. They're not. I feel you.
Yeah.
But back to the original point, because like other than that one sentence, which I think is totally justified at this point. I didn't know this dude was into all that.
Me either.
This is the thing, man. Huh?
I said because I don't follow him.
Yeah, this is the thing about the podcast, and it's difficult, and I don't envy people. This is one of the reasons I don't want to get into the debate spaces about this shit, because I don't envy people with platforms that have to deal with this shit. But once you start courting that stuff, you have to decide when you're shining the light on it, when you're normalizing it, and when it makes it seem like you're making something seem okay. I can't imagine what the like discussions or thought process has to be with For All Nerds and the recast the T'Challa stuff, because clearly Ben Amin's not with it. Clearly Tatiana's not with it. Nobody on our panel was with any of the negativity coming from it.
Right.
People had experienced directly the negativity coming from the people that use that hashtag, including Stephanie Williams and Karma Horn, who both have written stuff for comics, and they're Black women talking about this has been a negative experience with these people for me. And at that point, regardless of what he says, every time he speaks, he has to do a disclaimer. That's not a good thing. And if it really is true that on his channel, this is how he talks, which I was afraid of, because as I have, become aware of this guy, algorithms, people tagging us in tweets together and stuff, you see a little bit more stuff. And I thought I saw something he put about how something about like the Hulk becoming like less of a good character or something, as he has been like less about him being like this violent brute, and now he's got this focus on like science, and now he's like the supporting character in She-Hulk. And
Right.
I thought I saw like a YouTube thing where he was against that, or like maybe it was a thread on Facebook or something. And I just remember thinking like, okay, that does seem a little weird to be that upset about. Honestly, it feels that weird to be that upset about even the trailer, in my opinion. Oh yeah. How Marvel here's how Marvel's failed the Hulk, and it's from 3 years ago. And yeah, so it's just, people are allowed to feel that way, but I normally try to stay away from that type of vibe. Let me tell you how the MCU is fucking up this character or this person. And the thing I definitely did see was a lot of what about our black boys thing. And there's so many black men in the MCU. I really do not get this particular character will mean something bad about black boys, and they always make it seem like it's the kids and not the inner black child that they have.
Right.
It feels very selfish, like you don't want to share your toys. I think a cool way to get a black woman in the Avengers and MCU type thing is to just have a woman as Black Panther. I think that's a cool shortcut. And I think the story could be dope. And I don't have any problems with black women in that way. So I guess that's why it doesn't feel like my masculinity is taking a hit for this.
Right. And what's wrong with let's say a cishet straight boy? What's wrong with him looking up to a woman?
Right.
I don't see a problem with that. Like it's a problem with him looking up to his mom and his aunts and his sisters and like other women in his life. Like they have to be a second-class citizen because there's something wrong with you internally.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me that I don't get, is the idea that if a woman is so black girls have been looking up to black men in the MCU and seeing the representation there for years, and they were just supposed to be cool with it.
Right.
And they're just now starting to get some more representation for black girls and black women, and now it's like they better not get this ours. And I just feel like weird gender war shit.
Yes, and it's one of the things that really makes me upset, and I will continue to say this. All of a sudden, everybody come out with their misogyny and all these phobias and isms and schisms when it comes down to the marginalized groups, and black women are a part of the marginalized group. Black men are too, but y'all are represented. So why once the focus gets off you, all of a sudden we don't want none of that shit? Like that becomes a problem when it gets to LGBTQ, when it gets to the black women, when it gets to other cultures and other groups. People act like it is a problem, but I want other cultures to feel the same way I felt when I watched Black Panther. I want them to see these movies and these TV shows on Disney Plus and see themselves and see the representation from themselves and see the kids get the glow in their eyes and be just excited as I am. Like I do not see a problem with somebody outside of me and my race and my culture and my sexuality being represented here.
Yeah, and we'll see, man. Like I think whether they do it or not, it's not the be all end all to me. But this movement and people saying they've dealt with harassment and shit can't just be offset by you being like, well, I'm not saying people need to be harassed. It's like, well, that's the same thing right-wing people say. The same thing Gamergate people said. Mm-hmm. And if your movement becomes kind of synonymous with that, I don't know what's the value of the movement. And correct. Why is that so fucking important? I just don't like. I love all this nerd shit as much as the next nerd, but I have a daddy. You know what I mean? Like this ain't the end of the world for me. Like, I don't need Marvel to raise me or my kids or whatever the fuck. Like, why do this matter so much? Anyway, and yeah, like I said, I don't know all that shit. So if he's fucked up or whatever, I didn't care enough to go find out, and it wasn't me booking that show. And anybody who watched that show knows where the fuck I stand on the shit. I was mostly there for the jokes, you know, and that was one thing I just didn't understand. You know, and I'm sure when you make something like that, your personality and your claim to fame, he can't at this point go, maybe it went too far.
Right.
Because I think the chase and the lure of fame and tweets and retweets and being known as that guy and people looking up to you and all that shit, it's too much for people to go, you know what, this got out of control. And as much as I started this thing from a place of, if this is true, I don't know that it was, from a place of just like, oh, okay, I think it would be cool if they did this. Now that it's become like y'all harassing women who are writing for Black Panther, I don't want to be affiliated with y'all, and could y'all just leave me the fuck out of it? I would respect that more than this, like, it's not that bad, you know, some people are like that, but that's not what we really about. Well, that's what you're known as. Seafood on a plane, but you can't have any. Fine by me or no thank you.
Fine by me.
31%, fine by me. 70%, 69% reasonable, rational people like myself. No one wants to smell seafood. They can't have none. The fuck? Go to your office and microwave some salmon and see what happens.
in the office microwave.
Seafood on a plane, but you can't have any. 48% fine by me. No, thank you. 52%. So the Spotify people with money, more of them thought it was okay by them. And which makes me think is it because they fly private? I wonder. You know, if you're on a private jet,
or they're in that first class, so
they don't have to worry about it. Yeah,
they ain't got to worry about being back there with the peasants.
Right, the smell don't waft all the way to them, and they not on Spirit Airlines. Okay, watch out for the coupon cops. Raphael says coupon cops has a nice ring to it. Could be a podcast somewhere. James says you don't get a bail discount from the coupon cops. Lock emoji, money emoji, and 2 brown cop emojis. Miss Barnes says this story reminded me of working at Red Palace, aka Target, and folks were pressed about those coupons that we could not take. Shaking my damn head. Oh man, I hate when you get a coupon. Okay, doke. I got a coupon for some the stuff you put your contacts in, the liquid. And then I went to the store, and of course they didn't have that specific kind. They had the brand, but not the kind I would get the discount on. Like,
right, and then they don't want to honor it.
They got me.
Yeah, right, because they knew that shit was gonna sell.
Episode 2574. We didn't land on Fraggle Rock. Appia says, I think long COVID is easier to hide for a famous actor, for example, especially when money isn't the problem. There for a regular person, they can maybe not work for a few months and be fine. A waiter can't do this. No That's country true. Managed to fight out COVID and be fine. It's impossible. Of course, you have degrees of problematic. Yeah, great point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like they can actually, I try to funny, do the isolation, just be like, I'm not doing no shoots for a while, or and stuff like that, like you said, and actually rest and recover.
Ramsey D. Jenkins says 5 stars for Rod, admitting that there are women waiting on Karen to give up the ghost.
They waiting on me to croak.
I thought it would be funny. I'm playing catch up.
I was like, get on out here, Karen.
I'm playing catch up with these episodes and keep missing the live podcast. Rod, you are right about the feedback shows. They are flames in my Karen voice. Love you both to the moon and beyond. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Mary says, I'm the friend that my friends are hoping will die. My husband is a catch. What they don't know is that if I die first, he's not going to date anyone within 20 years of his current age. Oh, he's on that Ryan Reynolds? Okay. I'm the last old woman he's going to be with. In all fairness, if he goes first, same. Oh, y'all both looking for younger. What are y'all, the couple that goes out to the lounge and approaches a young couple and offers them
right?
Y'all pick up couples?
Both of them are like, look. We are in, because it's one of those things where, you know, you get older, your body changes and shit. They was like, look, I need somebody to break my back. Like what the fuck is happening here?
I mean, it makes sense because Mary don't post her husband a lot. So
Nope.
you know that make a lot of sense. You know, people with fine husbands always be trying to keep them
hid. I don't blame you. Keep him off the internet. Don't put him on the internet.
I knew Danny says I knew people had long COVID and it was affecting their ability to work, but after reading that article, I didn't realize it was 4 million plus. Long COVID is another reason my family and I still take all the precautions. I never want to deal with long COVID. Yeah. Yeah, I'm scared of long COVID, man. I'm definitely still masking up and all that shit, you know. And shit, now monkeypox and shit. My county, my city is code red with coronavirus, and it's all because people are acting like, even with that, people are still acting like what coronavirus. So
coronavirus, woo?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay now.
Are you waiting on your friends to die so you can date their spouses? Yes. No, I don't have any friends in relationships.
No.
96% of people said no. And 4% said, one person said, I don't have any friends or relationships. Nobody said yes because they're all good people. I hear y'all.
That's wonderful.
Meanwhile, the rich people said yes, 5%.
Oh shit! Now y'all out there like Martha. Y'all got your eyes on the prize.
81% said no, and 14% said I don't have any friends in relationships. Man, that's interesting that there's such a high percentage of people that don't have friends or relationships,
because they out here big balling. They was like, ain't nobody got no time to be in a relationship. Who trying to tie their money up with somebody with your broke ass?
I ain't trying to lose half.
No,
taking these friend vacations.
I like going where I want to go. I ain't trying to have nobody slow me down. I don't blame you.
The episode Q&A, mind your business, Neo. Katisha says, why mine when I'm so much better at mine than yours? Renee says, I worked at an airport coffee shop and had to go through TSA every shift. Those bastards took my hummus because it was over the 3-ounce limit. So how the fuck did they sneak all the food on the plane? Yeah, I do not. When he said that, I just like, I guess I ain't bold enough to try it. Mm-hmm. They always let you go if you got food. So you could just bring whole lobsters and shit, and they just like, well, it's the food. It's not gonna explode. I don't know.
Trash. Water bottles, all types of
just
shit.
The juice a lobster is in is probably, you know,
over
3 ounces or whatever. And then the other thing I kept thinking was, by the way, don't let the terrorists hear this. They're like, oh, we just gotta bring some shrimp. Okay. The other thing was, I kept thinking like, was the lobster cold now?
Yeah, because you ain't gonna be able to reheat it. That's what I said. It's not gonna be warm.
I don't know. I think
trust they ain't allow you to bring no hot plate and no heaters on there.
It looked cool, but like a few hours cold seafood ain't exactly my jam. Ernest says those side women should have learned from Martha's good example. Let's make homes, not wreck them. Malik said that's a great one. Let's make homes, not wreck them. That's great. Malik says, mind your business, like those folks waiting for my death to start dating my spouse. China says, but we were minding our own BA business. Shaking my head, smile upside down emoji. Oh, shrug, smile upside down. Aaron says to Martha, she's been listening to Break Up With Your Girlfriend on Board by Ariana Grande on repeat. I'm sorry, Ariana Grande. David says, watch this. Citra says, when a woman's fed up, she spills all her tea. It used to be people wrote memoirs. Now folks use social media to shame you quickly. Damn the consequence. That is true. There was a time when a woman got cheated on and embarrassed in public, and we needed to wait.
It's a whole ass song about it.
We used to have to wait a year to 2 years for the memoir, the tell-all memoir to drop, and we get the book, and she go around the interviews
after the man died.
Tell us how. No, not after he died. Tell us how Arnold Schwarzenegger cheated on me with the maid and all, and we had to wait for the rollout. But now we got instant gratification. People not even saving the story for the book. They like, listen, I need to get these tweets off today, and even if it's fucking up my payday, I can't rush over to Penguin Publishing and get this check.
Who cares? Who gives a fuck about an editor?
Yeah. Apparently. So let me go to the Notes app and screenshot this and let y'all know Neo is out here giving me the dirty dog clap. Raphael says, about to click yes in the poll. Now recall the conversation from years back when an acquaintance was asking me how he could have a wife exactly like mine. I'm the friend they waiting to die. Dang. Yeah.
They waiting on you to leave here, baby.
It is weird when you start getting that compliment that's a little too complimenting about your spouse. It's like, hey, nigga, calm down. You know? Just like, where do you find a girl like that? I'm like, all right, buddy, take your hand off your dick. Keep this nice and
right,
respectful.
I know, but like, how did you trick her? What?
If he ever mess up, like, hey, nigga,
right,
shut the fuck up.
He ever mess up, my dick is over here, girl.
Right. I don't mess up. That's the reason I'm over here and you over there. Now calm down. Let's see. We had episode 2575. Everybody is in the hive. Appia says, I see that Beyonce is a great artist, but my music taste is mostly that of a white sad boy. I think Radiohead is similar stuff, so I have no opinion here. Well, too bad.
Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess.
So you got no opinion, to keep your motherfucking lips closed, okay? You keep Beyonce's name out of your Caucasian lips, okay? I will drag you. I will find out where you work, and I will get you fired from Big Pharma if you say anything less than Renaissance. 10 out of 10. That's all you allowed to say. Don't talk about no Radiohead, no Korn, or whoever the fuck else was there. Woodstock 99. Don't nobody give a fuck about your white opinion.
What the hell is wrong
Now,
with you?
You better apologize in the first comment, or you are canceled.
You don't have to apologize.
The cancellation is starting. Karen, your ass can get it too. Okay? Don't try to assuage white women's feelings over black women when it's black girl party time. You trying to make them feel so comfortable over there, trying to be Aunt Jemima. Why don't you just let her get her dragon the way she's supposed to?
Nope.
It's over for you, Appia. It's over.
What you not gonna do is drag Appia.
It's over for you too, Karen.
I do not approve of this
let me
message.
protect Miss Mercy over here. Oh no, Lord, he don't mean it. Oh, nobody knows.
He don't mean it, Appia.
Nobody knows but Jesus.
Well, why
don't you stop cooning for a second?
Let me put my cooning shoes on. What you not gonna do is come for my Appia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then when she say something racist and horrible, it's on you. You vouch for this white person. Look at you.
I'll take the bullet, Appia.
Okay, remember this moment. She is German and she is white. She gonna fuck up at some point because she human. She's writing into a black show every episode. Anything can happen. She can make a typo, a mistake. Anything can happen any day, and you got her back. Okay, do you, sis? Remember this. Keep Beyonce name out your mouth. That's how it be on the internet, for real.
For real, that's how the internet
white people be like, I like the Beyonce. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Bitch! I know you did not just slip. What the 0.5? Where is the 0.5?
Like,
go
all of the stars.
Her children go to Woodlawn Elementary. Like, damn.
Right? What?
Damn.
Why you doxing her? All they was just like, I just giving their opinion, and it's the end of the world.
Damn, like damn. God,
I got you back, Appia.
You know, it don't matter who it is either.
No, it don't.
Like it was Hillary Clinton. It don't matter. It was Tina Marie from the grave. It don't matter.
Yeah, I love me.
White bitches need to shut the fuck up.
And you're like, calm it down.
We coming to her house.
Right? You're like, it is not that serious.
We gonna kill you. I've been laughing all week because that's how it's been on the internet.
Oh, that's how the internet feels. Everything is like 1,000.
But Mill said, but still, you shouldn't have vouched for a white woman. You gonna regret that. But Mill says, I'm going to be brave and give my honest opinion on Beyonce's album. I don't give a fuck about no beehive. I will give my honest opinions every day. They can come for me if they want. I don't care. So here goes. Renaissance is fucking flames. I can't stop playing it. Yeah, I said it. It's fabulous. I said what I said like a real G Emil. That makes sense. Yeah, I agree with that's fine. You
That's fine.
And Danny says the Caucasity saltine people always renting out slave cabins. Right?
Yeah, that right there is a fucking Jakarta. Cause like I said, ain't nobody going to France. Ain't whatchamacallit,
Anne Frank's
Yes.
attic, the
Yeah.
attic that Anne Frank was in. Yeah.
Ain't nobody renting that bitch out. So get the fuck out my face.
I kind of hope that Apia writes in and says that she would rent a slave cabin now. And then you got to defend it. Because
Nope.
Apia, you should cash this check in. She said she
Nope.
would defend whatever you do.
Nope.
So, no, you said it. You said it, Carrie. You
Now,
can't just take
I
it back.
won't defend that.
Call in and say something super racist.
I
and
won't.
just see,
I won't have you back for that.
see
no.
how far Karen gonna be like,
No.
we sick.
No, don't be out here just dragging people. Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
Would you nah, you said you down with Missy Ann. Would you stay in a refurbished slave cabin from Airbnb? Yes or no?
No.
One person said yes.
Oh, who is this one person?
4% said yes. 96% said no.
Did they go yes just because they want to experience it, or they like, hey, I want to see what?
By the way,
what the help up is about?
Exact same percentage on Spotify.
Is it the same person that voted in both polls?
Who knows? Who knows? But I feel like I would do it just to take pictures in it. I'd dress like a slave and I'd embarrass the fuck out of them people. Post it online. They think this is good. You can do things like pick cotton, you know.
You can think they make a lot of soap.
Right. Here I am cleaning the porch. Ikun Kun says to the Spotify Q&A, which was buzz. Bzz. No, but why did I know that the last guest of race was black? Because the husband was a janitor and the wife was the manager. These career women done messed up. Listen to Tyler Perry, Kevin Samuel. No.
Oh no! They're trying to be somebody.
In all fairness, I don't think I had a picture of the wife. Bianca says Bill Clinton was not the first married man Monica Lewinsky slept with. No, he wasn't. And I think she also slept with like maybe it's the same person, but like a teacher, where she was like a high school student or something like that. Which like a camp counselor when she was a kid, which still to me, like, that ain't on her. She was a kid, you know. It's like it may have psychologically fucked her up, quote unquote, you know, with some issues with, you know, stuff that she need to work out in therapy and stuff. And I don't think anyone's argument has to be like she is a completely naive woman preyed upon by Bill Clinton, who, you know, I think even from her perspective and the stuff she's talked about, she's been like, I pursued him. You know, even with all that, I don't necessarily think that it's as black and white as she's just evil ass white woman we should all hate or whatever the fuck, or what, you know, she schemed and plotted and destroyed the White House. Like, I think that dude is an adult. He knew everything that was on the line. And Bill Clinton has a series of sexual misconduct accusations all the way up to like sexual assault with multiple women. So if that's not her first married man, that wasn't his first woman that he had risked his political career fucking with. So I you know, I don't think there's a good I don't think he comes out any cleaner for that. A bunch of people just posted beehive emojis because they in formation. Bokai says, bitch better have my honey. James says, you might as well send a bunch of bee repellents to Diane Warren and Mike B's house. Malik says, I never want to hear bee fans talk about Nicki fans ever again. They like the bars, but just older with a 401k.
But like that in their 20s.
Oh man. I mean, I totally disagree. Don't write here and don't cancel me. Thaddeus says, Rod, you really stopped playing basketball since Corona? After I got vaccinated, I had to go back and play, but now there's monkeypox. Bro, I haven't played in 2 years. It sucks. I did go one morning and play literally right as the coronavirus cases in my state and my city had gotten to like the lowest level in 2 years, right? I went to the doctor, I talked to her about like exercise and stuff, and my main question being, when can I play ball? I would like to play basketball again. It's the best exercise for me as far as things that are fun. They don't even feel like exercise, just having a good time. And she said, you know what, you can go play now because it's so low and you're vaccinated and you're doing all the right stuff. I would suggest that, if you feel like playing, go ahead and play. The only thing is they only play at 5 a.m. here, which, because there's no more lunch run, there's no more night runs.
Oh, okay. So they basically stopped all the runs.
Right. So if I want to play basketball, I basically have to go play at 5 in the fucking a.m. I went to one, nigga. I was so out of shape. Oh my God. Thought I was going to die. I was so like, I've always been like fat, but I've never been that out of shape. Like, it's always been like I could go play basketball for as long as I want to, as hard as I want to. And if I got like injured or something, like when I hurt my ankle and I had to take a couple months off,
right?
Like, you struggle for like a month and a half, 2 months or something, and then it's like, oh, I'm back to basketball shape. And or just, for me, not basketball shape, for like an NBA player or some shit. Anyway, nigga, the struggle was so real. I felt everything. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the sorry person for a while. Like, scrub niggas was like going by me off of pump fake and shit. And it was like, I had to make decisions with such economy. Like, I can either go for this pump fake or I can let him have a shot. Or I can go into the basket, but I gotta pick one of those. Like, I can't do it like it used to be like, oh, I can make let me get my defensive stance and I can make all three of these decisions. He might pump fake me and I might, close out on the shot, but still be able to recover and make sure, switch on somebody. Nigga, it was like one decision. Oh, they said a pick, I'm out to play. All right, then. Good luck next time on the court. It was a struggle for real.
Yeah, because there's a big difference because you're like going from 0 to 100. Like, that's
right.
A shock
so
to the system.
What it made me, and plus these niggas never stopped playing basketball because they don't care about getting COVID.
Right.
And so I started so I was like, I'm just gonna try to do like some interval training type stuff to get my wind back. And then that's when the cases jumped. And I was like, well, I'm not. We're literally in code red. I won't be going back to the gym for a while. So instead, I did like a little bit with the Peloton, and now I'm doing like this VR training stuff, which really is a good workout. Like, and I got a long way to go, but I think I'm gonna do that for a while until the cases go back down. But man, I still miss basketball every day, man. It fucking sucks, but I don't want to be one of these niggas that got the long COVID or some shit. That I got COVID 3 times in the last few weeks, and we don't know if you get heart attacks a year later or not. But hey, fuck it, I'll just take this stroke. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and me and you are kind of over cautious.
Yeah, for
per
sure.
se, compared to a lot of people, which I understand.
Over cautious if you're. It depends on what you mean by over cautious. Because I was thinking about this the other day, right? Are we overcautious? We've never had COVID that we know of. So are we really overcautious? Or are we the right amount of cautious if you don't want to catch COVID? Because I know a lot of people that are less cautious than us, but they got it. Like, my goal is to not have it. I remember the day I was on the podcast and I was thinking, because it's like it's almost like a head trip when you go out and you see so many people without masks acting like it's normal. And I was thinking to myself, I guess I'll stop wearing my mask. It's just a trip to the grocery store or whatever. And then all of a sudden it was like, nigga, the cases jumped so far back up in our city. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I haven't seen people with a mask in a while, and it's not going away. Like, just because people ain't dying don't mean it's not going to be out here. And
correct.
Yeah, there's a new variant. Yes. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks, but
I-
it is what it is.
I'll be the oddball. I ain't got to be the first to take my mask off. Like I said, I'm still wearing my mask, and I don't really, go out and about. Like I said, we go to the movies, but we keep our mask on. Like we actually do certain things, and my thing is, I understand a lot of people they're just tired. So I completely understand. People go, you know what? Fuck it. I've taken all my shots. I've done everything that they say I'm supposed to do. I got my 4th shot. And I'm not doing it no more. Like those people, I can completely understand. If you're unvaccinated, baby, that's on you. You basically trying to tangle with death.
Yeah, so I think after we get that fall booster, which is coming up soon, I think I might start playing ball again. Like at least give it another shot, but because then it'll be for the Omicron variant, which will be awesome. But yeah.
Yeah, and then for me now, I'm like, well, goddamn. Somebody said the monkeypox. I'm like, yeah, now goddamn, now you got the monkeypox. Like, I'm good. I don't want no monkey on my back.
Yeah, the monkeypox thing is just gonna be. I don't even know what we're gonna do about that.
Mm-mm.
Right now, it's not like they're declaring it a high risk, but it's still not COVID levels. But I don't know what we're gonna do about that. I'll cross that bridge when we get to it as we get more information.
Mm-hmm.
Last episode, 2576 Plantation Party Crasher. We got 3 comments. Appia says, Karen, I'm exactly as old as Rod and also have 20/20 vision still. That's something I'm extremely grateful for, especially because my mother has really bad vision. Also, I hate niggers. Wow, Karen.
She did not
defend this. No, you need to defend this, Karen. She said that shit.
No, Appia did. I know Appia did not say that.
Karen, she said it.
Appia, I know he lying on you.
Wow.
Nope.
You just gonna deny right before my eyes.
Mm-mm. I know he lying on you, Appia.
Okay, I made that one up.
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to check. Pamela says nothing makes me giggle more than Rod's Mickey Mouse voice. Thank you. C6 said, did Karen say Wilbur from Charlotte's Web is white? Isn't Wilbur the pig? Are all pigs white people or just the ones that are all pink?
Well, I meant the boy, but I couldn't remember his name. But I knew the name of the pig.
Okay, all right. I didn't know you. That's what you meant. I heard it and thought she did mean the pig, and did a very quick calculus in my brain and said I too agree that Wilbur the pig is white. And so I did not challenge it because I said, yeah, that was a white pig. I mean, who leaves all those accolades for a pig that's not white?
Hey.
Every depiction I've seen of it has been like a white pig. The white voice actor. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Animation.
Yeah, I don't. But yeah, I guess if she was, but you clearly were wrong if you were thinking of the boy.
Yeah, I don't remember that boy's name.
You weren't thinking of the pig. Pink pigs are white. White people are pink. They not white. What? I know you on crayons. Whenever you draw a white person, you don't fill them in with the white crayon because they're not really white. That pig was white. And if you in the chat room trying to appropriate Wilbur the pig into black culture, okay. Jane is on my side. Never mind. I take it back. I thought we was about to have to. I thought we was about to have one of those black people that be like, like because it's a protagonist in a popular story, like secretly, just like Joe Manganiello, Wilbur had a half black grandfather, and that was a black pig.
I hope not. No,
the whole time he was passing.
He was passing. That's why they didn't turn him into bacon.
Would you eat at a restaurant with no cell phone policy? Yes or no?
No.
We are in the minority because I wouldn't either. But also, me and Karen do this show together and probably talk more than most married couples just doing this show, and not counting our outside conversations than just like the average married couple. So maybe the idea of going out to eat, putting your phones down, and really sitting and talking appeals more to those folks. But I've never been a stickler about this. It's never really bothered me. I think if it did bother me, I'd be willing to be like, hey, I want to tell you something. Can you put your phone down for a second or something? But anyway,
Yeah, we've had the
we're in the minority.
okay. We had the complete opposite. We've had times where we've been out to eat. You be on your tablet, or I be on my tablet.
Yeah.
Just one, and people would come up act like we're the widows. Be like, "Why don't y'all talk to each other?" I'm like,
Right.
We talk all the
I
time.
turned into Neo. Mind your business.
Right.
Honestly, I should just bring business cards and be like, listen to the podcast, okay?
Right.
You want to fucking ear hustle on our conversation? Here you go, free. Anyway, 58% said yes, they would eat at a restaurant with a no cell phone policy.
Probably maybe because they want a break.
I don't know. It could be just as simple as I want you to engage into the conversation, not looking at the screen. And
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I want to be able to just sit and talk, and you have to give me all your undivided attention.
42% said no, they do not want to do that, and I'm in that 42%. Meanwhile, the people with money, 55% yes, so almost exactly the same. 45% no, almost exactly the same. And then be a guest on our podcast for just $3,500. Hit the Cash App. Ignacio says, time to rob a bank. Love y'all. April says, your Mickey Mouse is perfect, but can you put the laugh he does back in, please? Thank you. Oh yeah, I guess Angry Mickey doesn't have a lot of time to do the
Angry Mickey ain't about that laugh, it's about that cheese.
Yeah. Get my money, motherfuckers. I'm sorry, I'm laughing too hard.
Angry
Get my money, motherfuckers. That wasn't good. Now I'm thinking about it.
Angry Mickey ain't about that laughter.
Yeah, it's hard to be angry and laugh. The dude like the maybe if he was laughing like Denzel in the end of Training Day. It was like when he got shot in the ass, and he was like, I'll put cases on all you motherfuckers. You don't know who you're fucking with.
That's hilarious.
Oh, you motherfuckers. I don't even think it's that good, but I'm glad y'all like it. Aaron says, Rod, when are you gonna try VR porn? I don't think I'm ever gonna try it, and I almost never say never, especially to pornography. But honestly, man, I can't get over. It's just me, but I can't get over looking like Wolverine from Weapon X and jacking my dick. It's just too much. It's just like the idea of somebody just walking in and seeing me in the VR universe fucking is weird. Like the other day we were laying on the couch watching TV, and I thought this would be funny. So I put the VR headset on and I laid on my back and started humping the air and acted like I was like sucking titties and shit until Karen noticed. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm watching VR porn. That's funnier to me than doing it.
What the hell are you doing? Because it was out of nowhere too. We just randomly watching TV.
It's too funny. I don't think of porn and humor quite so closely connected in that way. So you gotta kind of be serious to get the job done. So I don't think I'll ever do it. Like, and then like, what if you have like a heart attack and die, and then someone comes in, you got a fucking VR headset on and the auto blow AI on your dick or some shit like that's just an embarrassing way to die, and then someone got to find that corpse and burn the house down to destroy all the evidence. It's too much.
I will take care of that. I
no, thank you. This is that obvious shit that you're saying where you pretend to have somebody's back, but you have no intention to follow through. Raphael says, most of the pod circles I'm in have had people wonder if it's normal for a guest to demand a fee before appearing on the podcast. I've never had anyone offer to pay me or demand I pay before coming on my show. Yeah, and I bet there's like a way to get into that racket of
that crypto.
You know, you get into a business deal with maybe like an agency or something that floats people your way and whatnot. And I mean, if that's how you make money, that's how you make money. I think it's interesting that you don't have to declare it. So it's basically like an advertisement that you're not admitting as an advertisement.
Yep, they're getting around the rule. I trust the government is going to change that, but they're getting around the rule because the laws are slow to catch up.
But I guess as long as you kind of cherry pick people that you would have had on or that seem cool enough to fit your vibe, it could work out. I mean, it's not like you're gonna be listening to a show. I would hope you listen to some show and you're like, all right, up next we got, you know, some Nazi motherfucker because he had the 5 G's to pay us, and even though we say we're not that kind of show, what do you think about Jews? You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully it won't be that blatantly obvious. So, all right, we got voicemail. 704-557-0186 is the voicemail line. Let's get to it.
Hi, Rod and Karen. This is Janine. I am been listening to you guys for a couple of years now, and this is my first time calling.
Oh.
I am a West Virginia Black, and I wanted to say that I agree wholeheartedly with your opinions of Joe Manchin. He is he's a type of greedy Democrat that clearly West Virginia residents would support. Unfortunately, coming from a extremely white state that gives services out like it's a blue state that really does support its residents, they are entrenched in racism, and that means more to them than anything else. And unfortunately, it's represented in the folks that are elected to lead the state. And as a small minority in a super red and white state, there's really not enough of us to get another Democrat chosen or elected.
Then it goes on, but it sounds like she kind of finished her thing. Okay, and then there's another voicemail. Maybe she called back, or maybe it's a butt dial.
Hey, Rod and Karen, this is Janine calling back. I just wanted to say that I love you guys. I love your show. You make me laugh every day. And I appreciate all that you do and all that you're doing to be supporters of change. And I know that sometimes it's very disappointing that the change that we want isn't happening fast enough, but I appreciate you guys. And I share your podcast, your notes, clips of your podcast, because Spotify lets you share clips now with anyone that I think could benefit from listening. So love you guys. And thank you so much.
I didn't know that.
Very nice of you. Thank you very much,
Thank
Janine.
you, sweetie.
And we I think the gift and the curse of being Gen X is like, I feel like I can always kind of wait shit out a little bit. And I don't mean wait shit out in the like I want to wait, but if I have to wait, I'm not a burn it all down, fuck it, let's just let everybody else have it. I'm like, no, you're not as I'm trying to think of a better word. Basically you're not gonna, damn, ain't no good word for this. There's probably a dictionary definition of a word that I'm just escaping me.
Let's say you got thesaurus it.
Yeah, but no, because if I thesaurus hoe, it's not gonna come up from. You're not gonna prostitute me, because I ain't no.
You're not gonna pimp me out.
I ain't no female dog or lady of the evening. You know what I'm saying? It's just very misogynistic type of terms,
right?
That it's coming to brain right now. But it's just like you're not going to diminish and make me I'm not giving up.
Yeah,
you're just gonna have to come take it. And
correct,
it just is what it is. Like I don't really relate to this mentality of the people that are like, I'm just gonna give up. I couldn't get, I went to the store and I didn't have enough money to get what I wanted, so I'm just going home with nothing. I was like, no, nigga, buy a potato and bake that shit. Like, get something today. That's how I feel. Like, oh, I couldn't get the steak. Well, okay, I get a pork chop, but we'll fight tomorrow and get the steak. And I think that's the thing for
like
me.
you said, it definitely is a generational thing. And I think our generation is pre-internet too. So a lot of shit was slow and you had to wait and you didn't get shit instantly and everything wasn't like, and it was just because of the technology. Not that we wanted to be that way, but because of the technology. So we're kind of built a little bit differently versus people that actually grew. If I grew up in the age of the internet, I can't say I wouldn't be the same way, because the age of the internet is instant. Now you feel something, let everybody know right now. Our generation was, you feel something, your ass went home and cried about it and processed it, good or bad or indifferent, however you feel about that, and then you came back out. Like the shit ain't the same.
For my generation of people, it's really more like it's a big deal to say you cried.
Right.
For other people's generations, for the new generation, it's you turn the camera towards you and go live and show people you cried. And I think, and as subtle a difference as that is, I think that explains a lot. There's an expectation that the world is supposed to care about you that had, for good and bad, has affected the way I view myself in the world, where I do not expect that my suffering is going to move the world in that way.
Right.
And maybe it's because we came right after the civil rights generation and saw like all the cameras and stuff that shamed white people. The adjustment that white people made was to have no shame, as opposed to so like even during this movement of the past like 5 to 10 years of online activism, it's still been, let's show the world our pain, let's show our anger, and then the world will change. And you know, to me it's been like, nah, it seems like the conservative people had it right. Power is the only thing that matters, and the raw naked grabbing of power that they did is brilliant. It's a chess move, while we were over here quibbling about other shit that, while culturally they are significant, as far as the power and the legislative part of it, they're not significant. We've exhausted so much energy on that you know, I think so. So I guess I don't feel as pressed for like, I can't believe the world isn't changing so fast, as much as I feel like we need to get our shit together so that the world changes in good ways, because right now it's, you know, the choices seem to be changing quickly towards the way I don't want it,
Right.
versus changing slowly towards the way I do, which seems to be the only choices. Maybe it'll change.
Right. And and also is, you know, one of the things for me to where, you know, it can be good and bad to be of my generation, because also, and I know there are people of my generation that are on the internet and addicted to the internet and things like that, but a lot of my generation are more apt to tap out of apps. We're more apt to be like, be off for 3 or 4 days and be just fine and function and go in the outside world. Versus, like I said, if I grew up in the internet age, I would feel like if I'm not online, I don't have no connection to life. And my generation's like, bitch, I got a life. And we'll be like, the fuck you talking about? You know, like and it's a separation there. You know, when it comes to certain things, they're like, everything is online, life is online. Everything should be focused towards that. When, you know, my generation is more like, okay, that's cute, but I got shit to do off this computer.
Yeah. All right, back to, let's go to emails. Finish this thing out. Newsy writes in, what up, Newsy?
Hey, baby.
You snitched on us, to Keith and the girl, about our accepting Will Smith's apology, but I'm still gonna fuck with you, but you definitely snitched. Okay, they don't need to know what goes on over here. And honestly, Will ain't do nothing wrong. Okay, he was protecting a black woman. Recast movement. Woof. Thank you for speaking on that. Felt like I was taking crazy pills. It's a comic book movie. It's gonna be all right. Thanks for being the hilarious voice of reason on that panel. Thank you for listening. And yeah, man, I kind of felt a little out of place on both sides of it, because and it's because I haven't been involved in those discussions, and I don't believe in online community in that particular type of way, where like, because we all watch something, we're in a community together. That means nothing to me. You could watch something and come completely different than me. Happens all the time. I'm not looking for consensus on the things I watch. I like what I like, you like what you like, and you know, we don't necessarily have to agree, right? But this thing of them fighting every day about this shit, that's crazy to me.
Don't make sense.
Who the fuck watch movies so they can fight about them?
I don't. I watch them to enjoy them. Either I enjoyed
Yeah.
it or I didn't.
Even when I don't like shit, I'm not like seeking out the motherfuckers who liked it. Like, hey, I heard you didn't have a problem. Like, I'm good.
I'm not coming over there to piss on your parade. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Glad you enjoyed whatever the fuck it was I hated. You know, you
Right.
love the Lego movie. Good.
Right.
for you.
I hope they make a sequel for you because you obviously you're the audience and I'm not, and that's okay.
Yeah, we did our review for Nope. We thought it was good, but not great. There were people that thought it was great. I was like, and they wrote a lot of comments and stuff. I was like, good. I'm glad y'all thought it was great. Like, I wasn't sitting around like, this is my opinion and y'all need to share it. I was sitting around like, this is my opinion. And if somebody felt differently, they're welcome to that shit as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, comedically, I might fuck with you about your opinion, but not really.
Mm-mm.
Mickey voice Simone says, hey Rod and Karen, first y'all had me crying on I-95 driving from New York City, driving home to New York City from ATL. Ooh, that's a drive.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that I was grateful for the rest area between being a mile away. Oh shit. Karen shied away from doing Elmo, but once she got going, I howled. Now, days later, I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go back to sleep, trying to relax. So I'm listening to 2576. I knew that damn Mickey voice was coming back when you started talking about Woody and Jesse. I even covered my mouth when you said good old monkeypox hug. I'm sure I woke my neighbors up at 2:55 a.m. because Mickey said, you hug those niggers. You hug those niggers. Get over there. I can't do the laugh right now. I'm sorry. How do you come up with this? Just racism, really.
Yeah, just going based off of my reality. Yeah,
born black in the South, and I just
it's easy to tap into.
I've just always assumed all the cartoon characters was racist on the low. Foghorn for sure.
Oh yes, Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, probably Sylvester.
Yep.
Tweety Bird, definitely Granny.
Mm-hmm.
Not Tasmanian Devil, but mostly because there were not a lot of black people around for him to be racist too. But I feel like if he came here,
and the white people did own Tom, not the black woman, but you know, sometimes he wouldn't always with the black woman. He would be with a white family. I'm assuming they racist
Tom
too.
Definitely racist.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry possibly racist. More than likely racist. Definitely didn't like his cousin Slowpoke and Speedy.
Slowpoke Gonzalez.
You know, he didn't fuck with them. I could just go down the list.
Come on.
Petunia the chicken, definitely racist. That's why she wanted to fuck with Foghorn, because they wanted to raise pure white Aryan chickens together.
Apparently so.
So Mickey being racist, not that big of a stretch. He probably be saying all kinds of shit about Goofy and stuff behind the back. You guys are amazing. I should have known better than to try to listen to fall asleep. Thank you for always bringing me laughs and so much joy. Now I'm going to Amazon to try to grab something from your wish list and then put you on YouTube sleep sounds. Have a wonderful week. Love y'all. Simone. Thank you. Yeah, I checked the mail Thursday. I didn't see anything in there. So that's the last time I checked it. I'll take a look at the mail next week. Mandy says, unnecessary censorship. Dear Rod and Karen, I'm writing to you about the recent call outs of Lizzo, Beyonce, and unnecessary censorship. People are calling out these two women for a word that is slang for going crazy, but I just wonder if this is a form of sexism, because I've heard male rappers use that word in their songs and no one has said anything about that. Okay, that hit the nail on the head for me. Thank you. I had not thought that was right underneath the surface, and it had been bothering me. And it bothers me too when people get mad at non-black people who say nigga, but only the women in that race.
Yes,
that's also weird to me. Where it's like, so wait, Fat Joe could be in our face saying nigga every 5 minutes, but J-Lo said it once in 1998, and y'all still mad? How do you not see that those two things like are directly opposed to each other?
Right. Make it make sense. And it's one of the things to where, like I said, the whole thing has been bothering me. Like, because I'm like, y'all call that the two most famous black women who are coming out with their albums. And I'm like, why hasn't this ever been brought up before?
And in all fairness, the people that originally brought it up are white.
Right, and that
and
shit
it
matters.
feels like a way of asserting like a level of control when they've either given up or not decided to exert that control over other people that have used that word. But the other thing I keep thinking about too is this is the cost of giving a fuck.
Yes.
So because Beyonce and Lizzo seem likely to give a fuck, it's just like the way people do Democrats, where it's like, oh, y'all the ones who care. Well, I'm gonna say, if you really care, you need to wipe out all my student loans, or else I'm gonna let Republicans win, which is an asinine point of view.
Yes.
When you think about like the stakes of the world and letting Republicans be back in charge of America. But that is what people do because they expect Democrats to do anything, fall over backwards to prove that they care. So it does feel like
for caring.
Yeah, it does feel like it's something that has only come up twice, and with black women who are extremely famous by white people who are saying this is an ableist slur and you need to stop it. And even as they say, many of them aren't from America. It's like, this is ableist slur that is used routinely in the UK, where these artists aren't even from. But okay, but it is interesting. I've never heard this critique pop up, or at least get popularized and shared so much, unless it was these two black women.
Right. And it's also one of the things too, where a lot of times you target people that care, because you probably talk to these dudes and they would probably not trying to find, they probably tell you to suck their dick and keep it going. They're like, no, I'm not changing shit.
Yeah, and if I'm being fair, if Beyonce and Lizzo said, yeah, I'm just not going to address this shit and I'm going to keep doing my music, it would have died down. Like nothing would have happened to them, for the record. I think most people understand it's the assumption of malice, because if you look at the original comments that started this, it was a lot of like, how dare you? I thought you were cool. Look what you did to us. You clearly hate my community. So it starts from an assumption of like pure malice and disrespect. And also, like, in the background, there's this feeling that I have as a black person, which is, this is one of the ultimate examples of everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga, in which people are trying to find their allegory for the N-word to be like, this is our N-word, and that makes us have a cause and a movement that has a simple dividing line between good and bad. People that say this bad, people say this are good. And it feels like a lot of times people come out of nowhere with, we gotta find our N-word. And even in this email, you said it's slang for going crazy, which it is. But there was a time 5-10 years ago where people would say, if you say crazy, that's ableist. If you say, and they had like a big long list of words that, I'm sorry, no one's giving up 57 words.
Right.
And some of them were huge stretches to be like, if you say this, if you say stupid, you are being ableist. It's like, well, some motherfuckers say stupid shit. If I call Mitch McConnell stupid, I'm sorry that someone else is going to be offended because they were called stupid in a bad way by some other motherfucker. That's fucked up. But I'm not giving up that word in my vocabulary because he is stupid, and that was stupid. Or, don't say crazy, say dangerous. Well, I'm sorry. Crazy doesn't always mean dangerous to me. So when I say something that somebody said was crazy, it might not rise to danger. I might not be talking about Palin or something like that. It could just be somebody going, I looked in the sky and I don't know. It could just be somebody being like, I want to drink piss or whatever. And I don't have to be like, wow, that is dangerous. Like, no, nigga, that's crazy. You want to drink piss? That's crazy to me. And it should be taken with the colloquial level of whatever it was intended. But anyway, I hear you. I forgot to bring that part of it up. I hadn't really conceptualized it, but Mandy, you're on point with that part, at least. Of it definitely is a different rule for women. Women are expected to be the maternal workhorses and mules of the world, especially black women, when it comes to like, you need to put everybody else first. And
Right.
at the end of the day, still stand by. If they want to take it out, if they feel like that's a thing they want to do, I have zero issues with them, zero issues with what happened. That's fine. That's cool. That's dope. I do wonder if this will be a trend and if it will continue to ramp up and more demands will be heaped upon certain artists while others are, given a pass, basically.
Right. And I will definitely I personally will keep my eye on this, because there's going to be other albums that's come out. There's going to be other phrases, other slangs and things that are going to come out. And my thing is, are you going to keep this same energy, or are you going to only keep this energy for the people that care? Like that right there is a big difference, because like I said, what happens when you have the artist who goes, I'm not changing it. I said what I said, and that's the end. Like, what are you going to do then?
Yeah, it's that thing. Like I said, I get why strategy wise you do certain things. It's why, Black Lives Matter protesters was going at Democratic politicians, but they wasn't about to step their ass up in no Trump rally, because they knew it was going to be violence. And when somebody did eventually do that, they got beat the fuck up, because those people actually give no fucks.
Nope.
I get the conversation of what people from different communities. Well, you addressed that, so I won't go into that, but you get the gist. I just feel people want to play victims at time for clout. Yeah, we can't separate that part. Conflict is not abuse. Great book, read it. Remember when people were upset that Lupita Nyong'o for her voice in the movie Us, saying she was being ableist when in fact she was acting? Yes, I remember that. She's an actress, for Pete's sake. People glossed over the reason why she was talking in that voice in the movie and wanted to take her down. Yeah, and it was weird, and I really got mad about that, because I think it derailed her obviously should have been nominated for an Oscar performance in that movie.
Yes,
and I think they derailed it, and it's that assumption of malice, that assumption of you're trying to hurt us. The only way for me to get attention is to show you how much I am being hurt. And as long as we make that the currency of social media, there will always be somebody, flopping, going, they charged into me, I'm hurt, and I think that's what happened to Lupita. And I don't remember she apologized. I feel like she did, but it just felt useless and pointless, because it's not like any awareness was raised. There's been other movies since then. There's been other people that talked in movies that way. No one's raised that issue, and at times like that, I even wonder if it's artificial. Like somebody bought some bots or some shit to try to to fuck around on the internet and get everybody talking about something. When Monica Lewinsky inserted herself in a conversation of censoring Beyonce's lyrics because she said her name in the song, she did not have a problem with male rappers talking about her in their songs. In a magazine interview a few years ago, she tried to be cute, trying to correct B by saying she could have said Bill Clinton all over my gown. All of a sudden, she has a problem with the song now. Removing her name is not going to erase what happened between her and Bill. She should be mad at herself for not removing the evidence off her dress. Yeah, I think, like I said when we did it on the show, Monica seemed to be joking, even in this latest thing. And then because the Beyonce fans are so overly sensitive about shit at times, they a lot of them are looking for enemies so they can fight online. They turned it into she was definitely serious, she has a problem, and blah blah blah. When Monica, if you read her timeline, a lot of stuff to her is jokes, even jokes about what happened between her and Bill. And then also she did bring it up at the time in that magazine article when the song came out. So it's not even you should have said something back then, or she didn't have a problem with it. She did have a problem, and she brought up that male rappers had used it in that same article and said, she didn't like it. So, it is what it is. I just feel like people need a enemy here, and she just, when Beyonce does something, it's like people immediately start looking to see who's the worst person. It's like if I would have been serious about going after Appia because she said she didn't listen to Beyonce.
Right.
Mandy says, dear Ryder, she writes it again. Brittany Griner. Dear Ryder Karen, I think the sentence that Brittany Griner received was harsh, but I hate to say this, but she brought this on herself. She admitted she brought the weed with her, and she should have known of the harsh laws that other countries may have. I wonder if she will be able to continue to play in WNBA if she gets a return home due to having marijuana on her and in her system. Also, I noticed that BLM is very quiet about this case. I haven't seen or heard them speaking out, trying to hold a press conference pertaining to her imprisonment. BLM got a completely other set of problems right now with that money and shit.
Yes, they do.
I haven't really seen them as an organization doing or saying a lot since you know, the motherfucking government or whoever the fuck started looking at them finances. That being said, Brittany Griner did not bring weed over there. She was not caught with weed.
Nope.
There was hashish oil less than 1 ounce on some paraphernalia she had, which apparently the paraphernalia is not even illegal to own. And I think she's a political prisoner. I think it's pretty fucking obvious. There was a white girl who was caught. Matter of fact, you know what? I'll play the clip for y'all. Shout out to my girl Joy Taylor.
Let's go.
She talked about this on Speak for Yourself on Fox Sports 1 or whatever. And I think nobody could put it more succinctly than she did.
My reaction is that Russia is an enemy of the United States and has been for a very long time. And what's happening with Brittany Griner is political theater, and she is absolutely being used by Russia as a political pawn. She's played in Russia for what this season would be her 8th year. So she's very aware of the laws of the land. Russia is abusing the situation and using Brittany Griner's status for a political pawn. Now, of course, the U.S. is in a situation where they will likely try to do a prisoner swap. Victor Bout, who is an international arms dealer, nicknamed the Merchant of Death, might be involved in that prisoner swap. He's been serving time for 10 years of a 25-year sentence here in the States. But Brittany is being demonized in this situation when Russia is the enemy. So make no mistake about this. You mentioned the Russian law. Brittany was arrested in the Russian airport for less than 1 gram of cannabis oil in her luggage at the Moscow airport. We know, as you mentioned, that Americans, we have different laws for these substances than many places around the world. It is our responsibility to know those laws. Brittany admitted she knew the laws, and this was not something of intent. In 2019, a 19-year-old girl, American girl, was released from prison after she spent a month in Russian prison for a drug charge. Audrey Lorber. She was released after a month after she was found guilty of attempting to import marijuana purchased in the U.S. into Russia. She was fined $235. She was found with 19 grams of marijuana on her. Again, I remind you, 1 gram of cannabis oil, Brittany Griner. A local sports hero. She has played in Russia for 8 years, has no criminal history up until this point. So make no mistake about it. What's going on with Brittany Griner in Russia is not according to Russian law. It's not according to the law of the land. They are using her situation for political theater and political gain, and they are the enemy in the situation.
Can't put it no better than that. Like, so I don't think, and then the fact that they sentenced her to 9 years and then immediately said they want to start negotiating with the United States, like some type of prisoner trade shit.
Right.
It's political theater. I think everyone has been trying to blame Brittany this whole time has been completely out of pocket, in my opinion. I think the only area that I slightly push back is when people say she's only over there because WNBA players don't make any money. And, you know, some people have been doing the main character syndrome with like, and no one supports black women. It's like, well, the fucking government's about to get the Merchant of Death back. I think that ship is sailed. People care about Brittany and they're trying to make it happen. Russia knows people care and they're trying to abuse that as much as they can.
Right.
They're willing to put a motherfucker that's probably about to lead to hundreds of deaths back into the circulation just to get her back. You know,
they probably might have to rearrest him
after years of letting a Marine that's been political prisoner over there sit. We're doing this because Brittany moved the needle for enough people. So I think some of that's misguided, and they're fucking NBA players that are men who go and play overseas. Like, it's not necessarily like about a low wage issue as much as it's more money. And I don't think we need to turn her into a charity case in that way. She wanted to make more money because that's what the fucking money is. You know, this is a perfect example. All these golfers signing up for Live Golf. They know that money fucked up and dirty, and everybody's demonizing them. But we're like, you know, others of us are like, yeah, I see why they would do it. It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, and they're
suing. And guess why they started playing golf? To make money.
Right, and they're suing because they was like, hey, PGA, you can't tell me I can't. It's no other sports be like, you can't do this.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Just my point being, the same, like those are men who make a shit ton of money, but they can make a shit ton more fucking with Live, who is run by Saudis, who America's supposed to not really be fucking with, and they like, yeah, they ain't got shit to do with me. I'm gonna go get this money. And I think there's this way of trying to turn Britney into such a victim here that it's like she couldn't even afford to eat in America. She had to go to Russia to get money. It's like, nah, they had big money and she wanted big money because fuck it. Like she could have even played in another country where you get less money, but it wasn't that oligarch money, dog. So the problem is we vilify people who want money so hard all the time that when a rich person is a victim of something, it's like you gotta go work backwards to be like, they're not really rich, or they don't really want money, or they had to do what they had to. It's like, dog, she should have the right to go want to make some fucking money. She still don't deserve to have what happened to her. So that's the only part I push back on. But other than that, I don't know, it seemed an open and shut case of political prisoner that Russia is not to be trusted, and of course they're doing this.
Right, because all the people that go in and out of that place all the time, and this is the person that you pick.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's fucked up. Celeste says, reading the tea leaves. Hi, Rod and Karen. I hope you both are doing well and enjoying the summer. Climate change, scorching temps, notwithstanding. Anyway, just wanted to throw a few questions both of your way since you keep up on so many topics that you thought. What are your thoughts on the following? One, where the results of the January 6th and DOJ investigations are heading? Where are they heading? So I believe online comments are a combination of bots with different agendas that drive real people to think, feel a certain way and about what's happening. And as much as there's a segment of DOJ is weak, Garland, Biden, Harris is weak on the left, there's an opposite narrative on the MAGA fascist right that they are doing too much and they are being further radicalized. What are both of your thoughts on what actually could happen if they try to really hold any of these high-level people, including 45, accountable? Do we have massive violence? What side do the police come down on? I don't think about that. And part of the reason I don't think about that is there's this kind of weird thing that happens, especially on the left, of this idea of like civil war, violent uprising, and it always feels like it's a tinge of sensationalism. And that is not to say there wouldn't be violent people, blah, blah, blah. But if we're being frank, since the DOJ has been arresting people from January 6th, there should be some uprising of violence right now. Why haven't those people just all got their guns and run up on the Capitol again and been like, you're not going to do this? I think it's because, honestly, the government is too big. These niggas are still, their arms too short to box with God for real. And there's not enough of an organized movement, even within the government, to truly like overthrow this shit the way they would like. That some of these people would like. So I don't know. I'll be surprised if it really comes down to like they arrest Donald Trump and then all of a sudden it's a fucking, literal civil war where people are in the street with guns fighting and shit. I don't think it'll happen. Or that there's going to be mass violence and shit. I think there will be violence, but there's always violence in America. That's kind of been the problem.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not anticipating any of that shit. And I think Merrick Garland and those people that are pursuing this, to me, they seem like the kind of people that if the evidence leads them there, they will absolutely arrest and hold these people accountable. And the rest is above, it's above me. I don't know how you hold a president in prison. That probably is not going to happen.
Yeah, there'll be some kind of
like house arrest type shit or something,
settlement agreement,
Yeah.
it'll a fine, a fee, it'll be
something
like
to keep
that.
you from running again or something. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what all you do, but I do think they're an existential threat to democracy if you just let it go unchecked. But I think there are people that are checking it. So what do you
And
think?
also when people talk about the war and you brought up at Three Guys on, nigga, I said I ain't got the guns. The fuck are we
Yeah.
gonna have a civil war? They just gonna run up and just kill every leaning left person, because guess what? They have more guns than people, like literally. So where's
Right.
the civil war? What are we gonna put like this? And most of us don't live on farms and shit no more, so we don't even have, not trying to funny, literally fucking pitchforks to go after nobody. What we gonna do? Hit them upside the head with our goddamn tweets? Like, let's just keep that real.
Yeah, exactly. I think the people who kind of like are obsessed with that or fantasizing about it are so disconnected from real violence and what it means, because there's like this romantic of idea that because we're on the side that is quote unquote right, that if a civil war comes, it's gonna be this, that, and I'm like, we don't have the guns on our side. We'll just lose if it really
Yes,
comes
sir.
down to that. So why even put that shit out into the world? And thank God these people aren't organized.
Come on.
To be honest, because if they truly were organized, it could be a lot fucking worse. Two, the now two pandemics of COVID and monkeypox. I don't know, even in the face of a bad fall and winter and a new disease, what the next best steps are. I know there's a segment of folks who follow directions, read the signs, that feel that the only solution is a China-style lockdown where everyone is in their house, which, to be fair, they also had to have designated people not in their house, and society would not move forward. Healthcare, food, power plants, etc. True. China's still dealing with it.
Yeah, everybody's dealing with
So,
it, and that would never
even
happen.
if you do a China lockdown, it doesn't get rid of coronavirus.
That would never happen here in America.
Yeah, I know.
We actually never had a shutdown. People go shut down.
Right.
We actually never had a shutdown. People still could go and literally do what they wanted to do at any period of time.
They have a narrative that is strong online and also gets picked up by bots and media to drive from the left to the right. Government doesn't care. Why did you vote for them instead? Everything is still messed up, etc. Which is frustrating because they always conveniently forget that the previous administration did not care at all. And anything good that did come about was the work of dim leadership and people on the ground who are trying their best. I know. I can't believe people forgot so fast. And I get the bots, but like you said earlier, the bots really affect real people. And I see occasionally real people echo these sentiments, and honest to God, like I don't know how to not think they're stupid.
Right.
I know I'm not, I know it's just like, well, these bots and this technology, it can get to any of us, but some of this shit is so obvious. It's like, what are you even talking about? You know what I mean? When you see stuff, like when you see someone complain about gas prices and connected to Joe Biden, and they're really serious, they're not joking. It's like a weird, wait, you gonna let Donald Trump back in office because of gas prices? Gas prices that are high all over the world and much higher than America?
Right.
And that, as if he could set the price, as if every president who could set the gas price wouldn't just be like, it's 50 cents, vote for me. It's crazy, but yeah, you're right. Then there are folks very okay with wearing masks, social distancing, limiting certain activities, but still moving about the world. And on the far end, other folks that never want to do any of that, when their leader said to. Yeah, didn't want to do it. I don't know what you do with this.
Nope.
I think we give our thoughts on that every time we cover coronavirus, so I don't have much to add there. 3, upcoming election. Cue they trying to steal the election music. What do you see based on the articles you both are reading and the people you're talking to? Here in PA, we have total fascist, racist, insurrectionist motherfucker running for governor, and stupid Dr. Oz of the Senate. I like the direct Democratic nominee for governor. He started as a local state representative from my area and has always been helpful. It comes down to Philly and Pittsburgh, and honestly, there are some things that are concerned about voter turnout in these areas and what happens everywhere else. I don't like Fetterman, but fingers crossed he stays healthy and can pull it through. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's definitely not the time to fuck this off. So I think Kansas gives me a little hope because of the turnout and the fact that they're a red state, and Roe v. Wade being overturned clearly galvanized a lot of people that felt like they could either sit this out or they changed their mind where they were like, I don't give a fuck if I'm Republican or not. This ain't okay.
Right. And a lot of it has to do because that's what they were voting on. They was like, dude,
Yeah.
like, we're not voting on anything else. We're bringing
Right.
this to the voters and y'all decide. And
Yeah.
and so this right here, I hope it made some waves in the water to let them know y'all can't be passing these fucked up ass laws and thinking your party's going to support you.
Right. And then lastly, anyway, just in case you didn't hear, Heather McGee, who wrote The Sum of Us, has a new podcast out based on a book. Oh yeah, I know. I've saved it. I remember you said you haven't been reading much except comics since the pandemic. Maybe you could give it a listen. Take care, stay safe. Yeah, I'm already following it on Spotify, so I'll check it out. John says coupon cops, horse pace in the Supreme Court. Good morning, Rod and Karen. First off, just to be clear, you know I was playing when I said, oh, you really are the two of the smartest, most beautiful podcasters out there, and the show reflects that. Seriously, I listen to a lot of very smart podcasts with your insights and analysis, especially on race, but even on issues of gender and politics in America are really as good as any. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, thank
And
you, sweetie.
I assumed you were joking. I didn't take that as I wasn't sitting around like this motherfucker John. After all this time, he finally just revealed his true self.
That did not happen.
He's just like Beyonce using the spaz word. Come on, man. Rod, I think the whole ivermectin movement really started to disappear the moment that Paxlovid became a viable and fairly widely available COVID treatment, which sort of proves the point that these bozos always knew all along that ivermectin was complete bullshit, because as soon as a real treatment option arose, they ditched the horse pace immediately. Of course, they would never admit that. Yeah, I don't see a lot about it anymore. Somebody, when I said that on Twitter, a couple people sent me like links or something to like, well, this person's still promoting it, or this, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I'm like,
ain't the same traction that it used to be. That shit used to be fucking trending. Like, you literally was seeing that everywhere. It was on the newspaper, news articles. Like, I mean, we went for like months where this shit was like the leading fucking story. People were suing the hospitals because they was like, y'all won't give this shit to my loved one.
Joe Rogan was bringing it up like every fucking day on the show.
He stopped that too.
Like it just seemed like it hasn't been.
It's like crickets.
Yeah. I'm just looking at, I just put in ivermectin Joe Rogan and click news on Google. Joe Rogan COVID-19 protocol. What treatment did he use that he claimed cleared him of the virus? Okay, that's 2 weeks ago. 1 week ago, encouraged by right-wing doctor groups, desperate patients, and this seems to be about how people try ivermectin, and because they're trying to use it for ivermectin for long COVID. So that's what people were telling me on social media, that yeah, they said the new movement has been to say that ivermectin is helping people with long COVID, and you should use it for that, which to me sounds like snake oil salesman, right? Like, they couldn't get, like at every step they've been selling this as you won't get COVID. Turned out that's not true. Okay, it'll fight off COVID to keep you from dying. Turns out that's not true. Okay, it'll make the times you have COVID a lot shorter. Turns out that's not true. And now you have long COVID, try ivermectin, that'll save you. Yeah. And it just feels like the snake oil salesman that says it's everything that you need it to be.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things, well, it's a percentage of people that had stock in that. Like, there's like, I will refuse to let it die as long as there's dummies willing to pay for it, even though this right here is not even designed to treat coronavirus itself. As long as you're willing to separate from your money, I'm going to keep pushing this shit because I don't want my investment to go be in vain.
And for a fact, we do have the stats. They have been selling less. So I was right.
Okay.
They have been selling less ivermectin.
I know the animal doctors are happy. They was like, great, now I can actually treat my patients and I don't have to worry about motherfuckers coming up here buying it for personal use.
Yeah, and the government's still making seizures of these the ones that are being illegally sold and shit. But they say even that has dropped down tremendously. So that, I think it's just less on the street and less people talking about it. On the topic of the Supreme Court presumptions of rights, I think it's important to remember that for the longest time, SCOTUS did not operate the way it does now. Conservatives always push for conservative interpretations resulting in the policies they prefer, but there was still always an assumption that whatever twisted logic they offered in their rulings, it still had to comply with the established legal precedent. They at least needed the appearance of plausible deniability of the fact that they were acting in an overtly political way. But all of that started to change with Bush v. Gore, and then the Citizens United and Heller, the gun ruling for 2008. With each of those the conservatives got more and more brazen and started to completely dismiss the notion of legal precedent. They realized that their Republican Party would rarely be punished for their legal activism, and that they really can just say up is down, black is white, etc., ignoring anything the Constitution says and ignoring any legal precedent. And that is simply the law now because they say so. And it's gotten even worse with Korematsu 2.0, the Muslim travel ban, and now the horrific decisions on guns in New York and, of course, Roe. They aren't even pretending to care about what the Constitution says, and they don't have to. Anyways, my point is that while the presumption of legal precedent being respected was always a gentleman's agreement that could be broken, I don't think people were terribly naive for counting on it, since it was the law of the land for the most part of our legal history. I agree as well. I totally agree with that. Its erosion/death only began in the last 20 years, though there were definitely red flags that this was the way a Republican-leaning SCOTUS would eventually head in the right political circumstances. All that being said, I think you both are right that this Roe decision has opened a lot of people's eyes, even white liberals. People are as pissed now as they were when Trump got elected. In most white liberal spaces, simple truths like the GOP is racist, pro-life actually means forced birth, etc., are no longer considered radical statements, but are pretty much commonly agreed upon. I'm hopeful for the midterms, and I can tell you right now that every postcard we are writing to voters mentions abortion rights, choice, privacy, etc., and most of the lists we are getting are for women voters to reach out to. The coupon. Oh, yeah. And I wanted to say too, when you brought that up, that it's also the religious rulings they've been making. A lot of religious freedom that is actually bigotry. And these judges, like I think it was Alito, or which judge was it? One of these judges, like they're giving speeches, openly political speeches, and just like no shame in their game. And the main thing that's going to hold us back, and I'm hoping that the more these things pass, the more rules and laws we see like this, the more we'll see people come to realize what a lot of us been know. Your friends and your family that vote this way don't give a fuck about you at the end of the day.
Nope.
They care more about getting their way. And there's no amount of humanity in them that will stop this. They love this shit. They love the bigotry. They love the white supremacy. They're gonna support it. They're gonna vote for it. If you didn't see that when it was Trump, if you don't see it now, if you don't see it as they cheer the SCOTUS rulings that take away your fucking rights, you will never see it. Some people are waking up, but this has been a long time coming. This is chickens coming home to roost. This is, when the canary died in the coal mine and you went, I'll be okay. This is all that shit coming. And for like Kansas and these voters to be like, nah, I'm glad they're here. And in the words of my man, John McClain, and in the words of my man, Corey from Living Color, welcome to the party, pal. Cause these motherfuckers late as fuck, but they here now. Because shit just kept getting worse because they kept having this sympathy because these other motherfuckers are like, that's my uncle, that's my cousin. Well, your cousin is going to take your rights away while you're being nice about it, while you don't want to have a discussion at Thanksgiving, which I don't blame you. But because it's so much like we have to love these people. What about their feelings? They are telling you with everything they can, fuck your feelings. They're the real burn it to the ground people, not us.
Yes.
The coupon cop segment was hilarious. I'd love to see a movie where the coupon cops work in tandem with the chicken police.
That'd be good.
In the shared Blackout Tips universe. We would love to see that. Okay. P.S. I haven't played video games in years, but I'm looking forward to how the Oculus handles VR porn. LOL. Cheers and stay safe. Everybody wants. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know how to get VR porn on that thing.
Mm-mm.
I didn't Google it or nothing. I guess I'm missing out, but I just feel like I'll feel awkwardly weird with that fucking headset on, like I'm fucking Jordy and shit. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's that much better. I don't know. Hello, Karen and Rod. Wendy reporting live from Kansas says, first, long time. First time, long time. I'm an avid listener, and I thought to provide some insight on what's happening from being on the ground in Kansas. Let me tell y'all that it was real out here, and people came out the woodwork hot and ready to shut that shit down. A prime example is how my ghost neighbor, who I've never seen in the 1 year they've moved in to the adjoining townhouse next to mine, suddenly had a vote no sign on the side of the lawn. A male coworker even brought the topic up at work, whereas we typically shy away from political conversations unless it's some historical stuff. He had driven down from Colorado and said he was nervous about the number of vote yes signs littered across the highways in western Kansas. For context, I live in one of the 2 to 3 blue counties in Kansas, and I was worried that the sea of vote no signs was location bias. When I tell you I saw more vote no signs than I did Biden 2020, it was amazing. That makes sense though, because that's what the number said.
Right.
One eye rolling note though. I noticed my hipster liberal city has a lot of independent voters that were on that burning your bus, don't vote wave for the last 4 to 6 years. I'm glad they finally saw the light, but still side-eyeing them hard. Welcome to the party, pal.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's the counterintuitive for them to wait until 2016 happened. Wait for all those judge appointments and then for Roe v. Wade to get struck down. At least it's better late than never, I guess. That's how we all feel.
Yep. I wish you would have caught on sooner, but I'm glad you're here. And guess what? I'm not kicking you at the door.
Yeah, let's go.
Don't listen to these niggas if he's shaming y'all. Nope. Come on, let's go. We need your numbers. Nope. I'm shutting that shit down. Don't be all up in your feelings and taking it personal. It don't matter when you show up. You're here now, so let's go.
Yeah, stop being stupid. Let's go. Whenever you're ready to stop being stupid, I'm with you. On a more serious note, and then say that also about the confusing messages. I'm a whole doctor, and even I had to do a double take when I saw my first vote yes sign. It said some shit like the mother's life matters, and I was like, of course it does. For context, I was 6 when my mom's friend had to end a pregnancy to save her life, so that shaped my view of abortions at an early age. When I read that raggedy sign again, I was like, oh, y'all on that bullshit mixed messaging again, huh? I laughed so hard because it reminded me of Rod's jokes about how these conservative organizations will be named Keep the Family Together, but their main job will be literally take children away from their parents or some shit. Ain't it?
It's the opposite of what it means. Right. Yes, they love to do that shit.
It's the best. And then half the time it'd be like Mothers United, a million moms. It's like 2 white dudes that live in Ohio that
not even in the state,
just own a corporation. On some more serious note, I hope that those Kansas results are indicative of better things to come. I hope so too, man.
Yes, let's go.
Honestly, man, I'm so tired of living in cynicism and to some extent even pragmatism, which protects me and keeps me from being too disappointed. But I think we have legitimate signs to be hopeful. I don't think I'm stretching or making this up. I think I am seeing a change in tone from real people. Even if the news is behind and don't know what the fuck they doing, even if your activists or your super on Twitter online people are still trying to sell you the same pessimism, I'm seeing real people push back. Like, y'all not gonna trick me into giving up my fucking rights. This has gone too far. Your way did not work. All the shit you said, and I'm still waiting for it's still the wheels of power that I need to do the right things, because your wheels of social justice isn't moving enough needles. It's all those I'll give you a perfect example. I won't take too long, but think about all the protests we've had for Black Lives Matter and for different victims of Black violence from the police over the last X amount of years. It took Merrick Garland quietly working behind the scenes from the office of the DOJ to charge 4 officers with this conspiracy to cover up this Breonna Taylor murder. It wasn't no bunch of press conferences. It wasn't no flashy marches. People thought it was over. People thought that we weren't getting justice for Breonna, and that's all we can do. Now you got the DOJ, who wins 90-some% of their cases, going, yeah, we think we got this case and we're ready to roll it out. That wasn't a hashtag, even though a hashtag helped to get awareness in the first place. We still had to finish it off with the big joker of someone in an office in a position to do something, because no one else was ever going to do anything. The Kentucky AG is that black dude is mad as shit at Merrick Garland right now because Merrick Garland did something that he was adamantly opposed to doing.
Right.
And was in a position where he can't be voted out for like 4 more years or some crazy shit. So he knew no one can do anything to me. Yeah, y'all call me a coon, be mad at me, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't care because I have no shame about that. So, yeah, man, that's what it reminds me of is some people are waking up to like, no, get the power, get the office, get the position, get the voting and get this shit. And then you can go be mad and bitch about it online, blah, 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 because at least the people listening to us bitch and complain and be mad and angry and protest and demand things will be people who go, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Right, versus people that just ignores the fuck out of you.
If Trump was still in power, there would not be anything happening in the Breonna Taylor case. And definitely nothing happened for January 6th. Not a single arrest. Not a single person would be in jail right now. Anyway. So I think we have reasons to be hopeful, and I hope people see that, because I'm sure anyone who tried to discourage voting in my area for the last one has gotten smacked right across the face. Shit. Thanks for all the good work. Great work both of you do, spreading the good word. Cheers, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. I believe that's everybody. So thank you for all the emails, correspondence, all that stuff.
Yay,
we appreciate y'all.
We do.
Ooh, this is a long feedback show. 2 hours, 15 minutes. Didn't even feel like it.
No, it didn't.
For me, I don't know. You niggas listening might be like, these niggas talk forever. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thanks everybody tunes in live. Thanks for those who watch on YouTube later. Please leave us a 5-star review if you haven't done so.
Yes, leave us a 5-star review.
We just want to read them.
Update your 5-star review.
All right. And we'll talk to you later in the week. We may take I'm feeling to the point where we may need to preemptively take a few days off here and there in the next few weeks just to make sure we stay fresh. But yeah, thanks for listening, and appreciate y'all. Talk to y'all later. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye everybody. Peace.